Our interns here at Proview Sports Network get pretty competitive. Rivalries are real. So with the big matchup between the El Dorado Eagles and the La Cueva Bears, time to make my pick here on the Proview Rundown. I'm going to go with the El Dorado Eagles. You know, I'm going to change my decision, and I'm going to go with the La Cueva Bears. They're feeling it. All right, hey, calm down. Guys, you do it every time. This is ridiculous. You know what? I'm going to be in makeup.
Football's back right here on Proview Sports Network. All the best rivalries, all the best action, every game on Proview Sports Network, Comcast 26, and the game of the week on My 50 TV.
Welcome to the Steve Davis Show. I have two special guests today. On my left, we have Derek Stevens, alias the Scrap. Is that correct? Scrap? Is that what a name, nickname. And then, and then to my right, we got Larry Marina. Yes, because Molina was. I got to talk about that because, like,
okay.
for when I was coaching your brother at La Cueva. It was Molina. I mean, I wrote it down and deal, and then and your son was playing for West Mesa, and I butchered his name, but and somebody tried to correct me. I said no, I'm going to call him that name because that's the way I was taught to do. But it's Marina, and your nickname is
Lero. Yes, sir.
And that's from being in Mexico.
That's being in Mexico. I moved to Phoenix. You know, when I got done playing high school here, I went to Mesa Community College, and so a lot of guys that I was teammates with and privileged to play with, that was just what they called me. You know, because I had my son with me all the time. My son was Larry the Third, and they were like, "You Lero, he's Trey." You know, so you know my son grew up around basketball, and that was the name everybody called me. So like with a nickname,
I think the whole family grew up around basketball. Okay,
right. All the way through, definitely. But I think when the name really stuck, because people wouldn't stop calling me it. You know what I mean? Like I was Larry to me, but everybody just kept calling me Lero, and it just kind of stuck. And now it's kind of like my alter ego. You know what I mean? Like when Lero's in the building, I'm ready. You know. Well,
I'll tell you, Proview Networks is, you know, actually excited to see both you guys come on, and you're going to have a new show called The Issues.
Right. Yes.
And it's going to start. We're going to have our first show August 11th. We're going to have two shows per week.
Yeah.
And you guys are excited. I want to thank you. When most people, and don't lose this, okay, guys. When we get to the stardom, just remember that there's little guys in here that have a studio, and we have guys working. Time is so critical. So let's, you know, just remember that little speech that Steve Davis gave. But I really appreciate you guys being here on time and taking the time and taking this serious, because I know what I have in front of me just didn't happen overnight.
Right.
And I just, you know, this show is going to be basically 2 shows, but it's going to have like 4 segments to it. And, the first segment is going to be Hot Topics. So Help me out. What are you going to try to explain in Hot Topics? Start with you.
Okay. Well, in the hot topics, we just want to grab the latest issues and things that's going on in the sports world, and kind of, put them out there to everyone, and kind of debate them, talk about them, give our opinions about them, and just kind of spew out the things that people who probably working every day probably don't have a chance to catch because they're so busy with kids, this and that. But if you tune into the show, we'll have all the latest updates, rumors, gossip. For instance, like Kyrie and LeBron right now.
I was going to say, what is the hot topic right now? And that was my next question. You're ahead of me, man. You guys are good. So.
That's one of the hottest ones right now.
So what's your opinion on that? I mean, that's
See, we had a conversation about this on my social media platform, and people, you just can't please people, because everybody had an opinion about Kevin Durant and him leaving his own team to team up with a great team. Now Kyrie's on a great team and wants to leave that team to have his own team. And now everybody mad at him for wanting to have his own team now. So you can't make anybody happy, and it's ultimately about you and your own happiness. And I say you can't be mad at him for wanting to go somewhere and bring his talents to fruition. He only wants to do more, to manifest the same things that LeBron and all the rest of the guys are doing. So he wants more responsibility. So I say you can't be mad at him for that, But on the flip side, you got KD go to the Warriors. Everybody's beating him up because he's playing with a great team, not realizing that he had to do a substantial amount of work for them to actually get to the title. He was the best player on both teams.
Right.
So I don't even know how you could criticize him in that situation, because he played awesome. So in my stance, it's all about what makes the individual happy, and that's the end of it to me.
You just brought up, because I want to get to this issue a little bit. Give me a little bit of a background of you and what you're doing, and let them know what you're doing, and then because you hit on a subject with me that I want to see what your eyes are from your perspective of where you are in your career.
Okay. I'm originally from Houston, grew up there, moved from Houston to play ball at Colorado State. Went through, a lot of adversities, a lot of ups and downs, to get to that point at Colorado State. Then I moved from there, and I progressed my career to play professionally overseas, and played overseas for like 11 years, and moved on to start a training business. Ultimately, to use my story of how I grew up to impact kids and, just individuals overall. So after I started my training business, I then realized, okay, this is not enough for me. So I wanted to progress further. So then I had a chance to go to China and become a coach. So I went there, coached for a year. I had a 2-year deal, but I didn't ultimately, want to stay in one spot, because I'm so used to bouncing around as an athlete. Larry will tell you that. We travel, we move so much, it's just hard to be in one center, so to speak. So I did that for a year. I'm a historian, so I love history, so I love going to places and having hands-on learning. You read something in the book, but I always say, it's better to go through the experience of the particular place so you get your own understanding of it and not just take somebody else's word for it. So did that for a year, ultimately decided to leave, ended up becoming an agent, international scout now, for my agent in China. So I also do scouting and everything, and progressed from there. I came back home and worked with my business partner on one of the bigger camps that we have in our business, and so that leads us to now. So it's been a...
Why Albuquerque? I guess that's why. How did you get to Albuquerque? I mean, I hear all the China, I hear Houston, I hear Colorado, but then here you're and you have a little bit of a good name going for yourself. Just one, because of your good character, but...
Yes. Albuquerque, because one year I came back from Sweden, and one of my good friends who's from Albuquerque, Leo Ural, he decided that he wanted to pursue his professional career. He had been trying to get me to Albuquerque for the longest. I lived in Fort Collins, Colorado, where I went to school at Colorado State. So I was living there. I come home from Sweden early one year, like in December. I'm distraught because I actually lost my job that year. And ultimately, he called me. He said, man, come down and help me train. Come down and help me train. He kept beating me up about it. And I said, I don't know what's in Albuquerque. You know, I came here to play against New Mexico in the pit. I know the pit's great, but what else is there to offer? So, you know, I was like, I don't know. So I decided to come when I had time. I came home from the season. I came here about February for Leo, and we trained, and we went to a showcase in Vegas. And after that, you know, I kind of dabbled in business with one of my other good friends that live here, named Adrian Neighbors, who's my partner now. And ultimately, I ended up coming back and forth because we built the business here. So that's kind of my lock and my staple here now, is our business we have here.
Well, you know what? Very impressed. I'm glad you're here. Again, it's going to be great that, you know, you and Laurel, is that correct?
Yeah.
Laurel.
Yeah.
I got that Clovis accent, so I'm proud of it. Okay,
Right.
so I have a lot of pride in that. But, you know, I know you've taken a lot of time and brought a great. You guys have got so much great history, but you know, most people. I know you from. You know, another day we were sitting in the office, and I kind of just, you know, it was amazing. I didn't understand where you. I've been watching your career, but I didn't understand your trials and tribulations to get to where you're at. Okay,
Yes,
and then, you know, everybody knows you played at El Dorado, and every year you keep playing basketball. So you've been blessed, you know, from the talent deal to be able to play on yours. And again, back to hot topics. What's a hot topic that you're concerned about?
Well, for me, another hot topic, and I'll piggyback off of what Scrap said with the Kyrie Irving, LeBron James thing. But we could also, there's plenty of hot topics. We could also talk about the hot topic of LeVar Ball, how he did the official. He berated her. He got her basically removed from the Adidas camp, and she's an NCAA official, certified. Said she was out of shape, said a bunch of things, different things, disrespectful, and a lot of it came off as sexist. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's difficult because it shouldn't matter the gender of the person who's calling the game. It's almost like if it's a black person, are you going to call him black? What does that change? If you're not happy with what the official is doing, it's not going to change because of their gender, their color, their race, whatever the case may be. And so a lot of people are on him a lot about it because he's become a star because of his controversial ways. You know, Lonzo Ball, you know, has a chance to be a great NBA player, but he said he was better than Steph Curry.
Let's step back right. You know, Lonzo Ball has a father. I mean, is there some similarity
and super similarities because when I'm watching my son, as a father, you never realize that you want your son to be like, if I could ask God or the higher power or however people want to see it, if I could ask him to take everything I've ever done in basketball and I never make another shot and make sure my son is successful, I would take it in a heartbeat because your son is your legacy. That, like, to watch my son, I got more enjoyment watching my son his senior year play basketball than I ever did making one shot in my career. So I can understand exactly where LeVar Ball comes from because in my mind, it's not even an obsessive thing. It's just you want your kid to be so successful that a lot of times you can see so many flaws in your kid, but you help him through it. You know what I mean? And you have the closest relationship with him than anybody. I can tell him things about him that he doesn't know that I'm watching. You know, so, and then obviously with me still playing, I always wanted for us to play together because I had him so young. I was 16 years old when I had him, you know, so I always dreamed of us being like Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr.
But let me ask you this, El. Is there such thing as overboard and too much?
Man,
as a father?
And it's a fine line because you guys see, we play basketball together and a lot of times we'll play pickup and I'm on him tough. And I'm on him tough because I'm trying to push him into being the alpha. You know what I mean? I don't want him, he's played with me his whole life, and when he's 16, he's going to give me the ball because I'm still a professional athlete, so I'm still playing at the highest level.
Right.
I level way higher than what he's playing.
Right.
But I'm trying to ascend him into the alpha dog role where I'm the top dog, and y'all help me, you know, because I feel like in college, that was the only way I was recognized.
Right.
When I got to El Dorado, I went from Albuquerque High playing for Coach Holtzman and Coach Romo and that whole staff and Coach Garcia. And when I left there, I was just another guy.
Right.
You know, there was Brandon Sharks, there was Victor Garcia, there was a lot of great players. I know you did. And so when all those guys were on the team, they won state my senior year, and I would have been on that state team.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got to El Dorado, the one thing I took from a Brandon or a JoJo or even
Bryce
Smith actually was hurt, but from all those guys was how to be an alpha.
But what about like, because see, you look at the other guys who have dads that were great players.
Mm-hmm.
Steph Curry dad don't come to the front. And we all know Dale Curry.
Right.
Dale Curry was one of the greatest shooters of all time.
Yes, sir.
But you don't see him parading through the limelight of his son, because Steph is like one of the best players in the world, so he's not parading and basking in his glory. They're kind of, even Klay Thompson's dad played in the NBA.
Right, Michael Thompson.
Right, so they sit back and they watch their sons go into the limelight and not try to overshadow them.
But you know what? It depends on the personality of the dad, and it depends on the personality of the kid.
Right.
If the kid is self-motivated, you do less. If the kid is in the gym every single day, you don't have to wake him up, hey, let's go to the gym. He's in the gym on his own. A lot of that you can pull back.
Yeah.
And I think in the Steph Curry case, you can pull back. I don't know a lot about Lonzo Ball because he hasn't become a pro yet. But you know, but I'm assuming that with him having 3 brothers, LeVar was, y'all get up, let's go to the gym. And so when you set that precedence that that's what it's going to be, it's kind of hard to let go of the reins when somebody says, hey, he's a grown man now, let go of those reins. Yeah. My son is 20 now.
Yeah.
I still haven't let go of the reins.
All right, we're going to go to the top 10 plays, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk more about this show, because it's pretty, you guys are on a roll right now.
Sounds good.
Let's
He got away with one nonetheless.
He definitely created some conflict.
Here we go, 2-1 game on. Sam Gleedle's gonna finish it. Check the replay and show you how it happened in just a moment. Here's Luke Lawrence.
Very nice PK.
So it's going to be Jack Plants is going to take this. Donnie Ciano's there too, but I don't think this is going to be a left-footed take. Clancy, yes! Jack Clancy.
Hey, I said it earlier in the broadcast, Adam. He loves to.
This is dangerous, as Gleedle will leave it off. Pacheco, does he want to have one? A cutback. Pacheco's in trouble now as he tries to switch it. Here's a 1-2, and again it's Gleedle. Gleedle's going to try to bend one. Yes! How about it from Sam Gleedle? It's gorgeous on the inside of the foot. And he
What do these interns even do on their break, man?
I don't even know. It's probably way too crazy.
Football's back right here on Proview Sports Network. All the best rivalries, all the best action, every game on Proview Sports Network, Comcast 26, and the game of the week on My 50 TV.
Hoops New Mexico Basketball Courts is coming to Albuquerque soon. 10 full basketball courts and a whole lot more. For more information, contact Dan Serrano at hoopsnm@aybl.com.
Don't forget, every Proview Network sporting event is on sale at our DVD store. Go to www.proviewnetworks.com to buy your DVD today.
Hey, welcome back to the Steve Davis Show. I got two special guests. I got Scrap to my left and Laurel.
That's fine.
I'm getting better.
Yeah,
You know what? You're so good.
Yeah.
I probably butchered it, but you're being so. You got that little smile, and you got that little charisma with it, and
We good, man. We good.
But
we good.
you know, I just I'm so excited for your show. I mean, and I'm sincerely saying this from my heart. When you know, I want to give Kevin Banks. I don't want his head to get any bigger than what it already is. But when he called me up and told me that, you know, y'all were going to be part of the show, and then he told me that you were going to be it, and you didn't. He didn't tell you that I was going to. You were coming in to meet me, and I saw your. You got a contagious smile. Both of you guys got an unbelievable contagious smile, and you came in and you're like, hey, this is my home.
I'm like, Coach Davis, you said be comfortable. I'm like, Coach, what's up? You're like, man.
You guys, you came in. You came in serious.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna come in here with.
I
thought I was gonna come in with people I didn't know. So I was like, I gotta come in. I gotta say, you know. But when I saw you, I'm like, hey, this Coach Davis. What's up, man? And it just it made everything comfortable.
And then you came in and you gave me a little bit of history of yours deal and what you wanted to do, and trust me, I you know, I always have this speech. You know, everybody wants to be on TV, and I think it's work. I mean, you know, it's not to do it right and to come in and where you have people watching it, and my show is basically is about my guest. It's not about Steve Davis. It's about, you know, bringing in and about the community of Albuquerque, and I'm more of, you know, I'm from the east side of the state, but I've become more of a metro area type person over the last few years.
What I mean, the beautiful thing about it, Steve, is that, you know, me and Larry as basketball players, to sustain a career as long as me and him have, you have to have a level of perseverance and work ethic. And I think both of us bring those traits to the table. So when we get opportunity, you know, the only way we know how to do it is attack it full steam ahead. And that's kind of how we approached it. You know, we was like, oh, wow, we get that opportunity. And so we just grab the bull by the horns, and then we just come in and we get to work, because to sustain our careers, we've had to do that on several occasions where we just attack, never give up, persevere, and continue to manufacture things to happen. And not everybody has that type of character. But the question I have for you, though, Steve, is how did you?
It's a Steve Davis show. You know what I mean? Hey, you're not on that level yet, but go ahead. All right, so go ahead. You're feeling comfortable. You're feeling bold and everything like that. You think you got the world, but all right.
The question we would have is, how did you get your show started? How did you progress into the things that you're doing?
Well, let's just go back 9 years ago. Okay, 9 years ago, first of all, I had to give a little history of Proview Networks. Proview Networks was more internet. Okay, it was all internet. At that time, there was a lot of problems with the internet. There wasn't the infrastructure wasn't set. So that was my first goal, to get the infrastructure set. Okay. Now we have, you know, if anybody knows Proview, we're set up at all the gyms. We're set up almost statewide. It's just not like just Albuquerque. If Proview wants to do a game, people are gonna come. And I don't say that with arrogance. I say that with very humble. They want to promote their kids. We want to come out and do the right thing. Right. Well, I wanted what y'all are doing. I wanted guys to come in that wanted to just tell their story, okay? And I, at this time, the economy, if you go back, the economy was really bad. and everybody was kind of hurting. And I thought it was a good opportunity for a young radio guy that maybe be struggling just to get his name out there, okay? And sure enough, except for one, and a guy that we all know, and you probably even know it yourself too, Scott, is that listened to him, and that was Robert Portnoy. Okay, Robert Portnoy now is the voice of the Lobos.
Right.
Well, not that I helped, he did it on his own because of his work ethic, of his whole thing, but I gave him an opportunity, and the reason he got his job was because he announced football, basketball, baseball, anything I asked him to do, volleyball, he just went and did it, and he put all of his energy, all of his effort into it, and guess what? The higher levels at that time saw him, and when that opportunity came, it was like he knew every high school coach, he knew every high school athletic, he listened to everything I said, and he did this over a period of 2 years. And the other thing that was great about him, and I respect him to this day, and he did our games for that low salary. And he was like the voice of Proview Networks. But back to your original question. So you got a kind of history and what I was trying to do.
Right.
And he had a sports desk, which we still have today. Now Scott Galletti's doing the sports desk, okay? And I'm a host. Sometimes I come on a lot on that. All right. Well, that's how this all originated, okay? But mine was a guy named J.D. Healy that was a partner of mine when we first did. Now he's moved on with an FHS, and he's got another opportunity, starting with a little company like this. And I'm in the office, and some guys came into my office, and he's asking me, he goes, and we're just laughing and talking about, just like our conversation when I first met you guys. I mean, you guys came in all serious, and next thing you know, we're just, we were talking racism, we were talking. We just pulled it all on the table, and he comes running out of the office, and he said, and it was actually this time of year, 1 week ago. Last week was the Coaches Association. Okay, so he walks in and he goes, "Oh, we got a new host, and this is Steve Davis. We're going to have a Steve Davis show." And there was 3 people. I'm not going to mention the people that are in the room. They're like, "Really? You're going to have a show?" And I go, "No, no. I'm president of the company. No, I'm not going to do this because everybody's going to think I'm doing this because I'm the president of the company, and I can do it. Okay, right. No. And so that night, this is how quick it spread, and I, in a way, I warned you guys. I mean, I'm telling you guys, be ready for this because there's eyeballs that are going to be seen on you, and then you're going to commit to 2 times a week. This thing is going to be great. Well, I mean, because I think my show's great. Okay, I think it's just because of my guests and the people I bring in. But so anyway, you got me emotional. But so he comes in, and so that night, if you've been to the coaches, the other, I'm just out, just sitting like myself. Next thing you know, there is 12 people around me.
Wow.
Hey, Steve. Here, you got a show going. Hey, Steve, you got a show going. Hey, I like to tell my story. I like to talk about it. And sure enough, so I came back to the office the next day and I said, "Look, I'll give it a try." As we all know, I'm fun to be around, but I'm not a host. I'm just a guy that just loves to talk about the person I'm with. Right. So I said, "I'll do it." And I'm telling you guys, I've already told you this, but I'll just tell it right on there. I mean, and I'll tell you who helped me out the most. I mean, my stomach hurt. Yeah. I mean, because you know how you get big for a game. I'm like, because I'm like, because I'm like, I'm just an old. At that time, I was 10 years younger, but I was still energetic. I was still playing ball. Okay, I was still not on y'all's level, but I was still pretty competitive on what I did. Yeah. And a gentleman in my first 4 shows it was like I was trying to be Jim Rome. I'm trying to be, I'm trying to be, be all these guys. And and then so I called a guy named Jim Holtzman.
Oh, my old coach.
Yeah, called Jim Holtzman up, and I sat down and I said, "Look, Coach, and he's not my coach."
Right.
So, and I'm like, he said, he's not my coach, but he's. When I came to Albuquerque, there's people that you come to Albuquerque and you trust. I don't know about Kevin Banks, but I just thought I'd throw that in there a little bit. But you feel comfortable with it. And I just went in. I said, "Look, man," he goes, "Steve, you're doing a great job." I go, "Coach, man, truthfully, man, I'll be honest, man. I'm too uptight." Yeah. And he just said, "Look, I'm going to tell you something. Why don't you just be Steve Davis?"
Right. Everybody else is already taken, right?
Yeah. Why don't you just become Steve Davis and have your own personality? You know what you like to watch. You don't like to watch you want to hear. And so that's how the Steve Davis show. And for 9 years, almost now 50 episodes, 450. About 500 shows later, I'm still here, and we got to take a break, and we'll come back and talk about the issue. Okay.
Excellent. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Our interns here at Proview Sports Network get pretty competitive. Rivalries are real.
All day with you two, jeez.
Football's back right here on Proview Sports Network. All the best rivalries, all the best action, every game on Proview Sports Network, Comcast 26, and the game of the week on My 50 TV.
The Barley Brew, a proud sponsor of Proview Networks for over 9 years, is pleased to introduce Black Iron Catering. From weddings and family reunions to birthdays and office parties, Black Iron Catering is perfect for any event. Contact Jamie at 505-459-8259 and book your event today. Black Iron Catering. Let us bring our kitchen to you.
Visit the Frontier Restaurant. Due to heavy construction on Central, take lead or coal coming north or south. The Frontier Restaurant. Get your Frontier fix on.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, # life change will occur.
Gecko's Bar and Tapas, a proud supporter of Proview Networks. It's been a fan favorite spot for food lovers and sports fans. With not one, but 2 great locations, including outdoor patio, an atmosphere you won't want to miss. Gecko's, off Academy and in Nob Hill.
Hey, welcome back to Steve Davis Show. I've got two great guests. I mean, not good guests. I got two great guests, and with Laurel to the right,
Laurel,
and Scrap to my left, and I just, your show. When I'm putting you guys on the spot right here, I just, let's go through your second segment, Albuquerque, New Mexico athletes. Take over.
Okay, well, let's just talk about two guys, state run. I guess they got co-state MVP when they played. We're going to talk about two guys who I consider brothers of mine, Scotty Bamforth and DeAndre Lansdowne. We both seen them.
And I have history of both of them.
Yeah.
Lansdowne played on Mike Danoff's AAU team. Watched him. He actually played at Sandia. Came in his freshman year. I stepped down, and then Bamforth I tried to get him a scholarship. Nobody knows this. I tried to get him a scholarship at Utah Valley. Dick Hunsaker, very good friend of mine, and followed his career.
Right, and both of them, as we know, they've matured into grown men.
Yeah.
I would say they're the two up and comings with.
Are they the 28s, 27, 28s?
So this is they're in their prime. And I just like what they've been doing basketball-wise. So I wanted to give them a shout-out. But I'm going to tell you my issue with why I believe Scotty is the transcending one. And not saying DeAndre's not great. Yeah. I think DeAndre is great. DeAndre works out with us all the time. But just to play devil's advocate, I'm going to take Scotty. I'm going to give you DeAndre.
Yeah.
I think Scotty would have to be considered right now the best player playing right now at that overseas level, and I'm gonna give you a couple of points.
You got to make that point because I definitely would have to lobby in after the last few weeks of us playing with DeAndre and seeing his IQ as a basketball player and his willingness to do other things that most players do not do. So I'm interested to hear what you got to say.
Right. And, okay, so I'm gonna go here with Scotty.
Okay.
These are the 3 points that I'm gonna try to make for Scotty Bamforth. One, he's playing in the ACB. We all know ACB is the top league outside of the NBA.
Yeah.
So that alone puts you in a whole different category because of the guys that he's playing with. The level that he's playing with is extraordinary.
Can't argue that. Yeah.
Also, he got NBA tryouts, got a Utah Jazz tryout. Went against C.J. McCollum, actually gave C.J. McCollum some work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Scotty has to be, outside of you, one of the guys that when they shoot the basketball, I think it's going to ever miss.
True.
So with those 3 points.
Well, a lot of people say that a lot about you.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm more.
I watched it. I did the Mexico game, so I got you on film. I got the whole. I got your game.
But it's kind of tough when it's yourself. Because when it's you missed a lot of shots while everybody else thinks you made every one. Yeah. And it may be 2 shots that you're thinking of in your head that like, man, if I could get those 2 shots back. And it's like, you were 8 for 10. And you're like, but you're so critical on yourself. But with those things being said for Scotty Bamforth, I think that Scotty Bamforth at this point now, he's starting to reach another level. He's going to change countries this year. I'll have more to update that as the show goes on. He's going to change countries. He's not going to be in Spain. I think.
What a great story.
Right.
But here's the thing. Now let's segue and let's bring up DeAndre's here's and theirs.
Okay.
I mean, it's something to be said for a guy who started as co-player of the year with Scotty, stopped playing basketball for a complete about year and a half. When he played in the Mexico games, played in the rec division when he stopped. And I always bother him about this. I'm like, you're too good to be playing with the little kids. So he didn't even play with us. He played in the rec the year he stopped.
That's true.
Played in the rec division. Then ultimately, in me talking to him, decided, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to play basketball. Manufactures his way with an opportunity in Mexico. Not even at the highest level.
No, Chihuahua League where I play.
Chihuahua League.
The second when I leave LMBP, I go to Chihuahua and he's there
too.
Right.
Plays there again with another great player with you and Ramon Andretti. Leaves there.
That's a great story.
That's another great story.
We're gonna definitely have him.
Player.
We're gonna definitely have him on.
We will have on
the show.
He leaves Mexico second league, goes to Germany, becomes player of the year in the Pro B in the third division.
And we all played in that German level at that level.
It's not easy
level. That's not an easy level.
Player of the year,
Let me stop right there. Those gyms are full, and they're really very nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Topper,
Passion.
Topper sent me
yeah.
some pictures of Dill, and I couldn't believe. You don't think, and sometimes we think down on the second world or whatever, anything across the water. I tell you what, they take basketball serious.
Oh my goodness, and there's passion behind it. It's so much passion.
But so he goes and get Player of the Year in the Pro B, moves to Germany Pro A last year. Averages about 15 points a game, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Now this year he's moving to the BBL where he has a extended tryout, which he's probably going to make it if I'm knowing his talent and what he brings to a team. His intangibles are so high, his willingness to be a teammate and not always dominate, but then know when to dominate. But in that 3 to 4 year span, something has to be said for a guy who retires before his career starts. 3 years later, consecutive years, now he's at the highest league in Germany, which is not easy.
Yeah, but that says a lot about his work ethic. But he's ascending. Scotty's there.
True.
That's where that's the difference between the two. Now, would they guard each other? Now, they gotta, like when we go to the gym, we gotta match that up because DeAndre's now a 2. We always looked at DeAndre in Albuquerque because the bigs are so small. We always looked at him as a 4-man, 3-man, because he's so athletic that he could get away with playing bigger guys and you could still keep him on the team. Scotty doesn't have that intangible.
That's the intangible that I was going to throw it.
Right. But Scotty can shoot a little bit better than DeAndre. But right now at their pinnacle, I feel like DeAndre has finally reached Scotty's level for the first time since they were co-MVPs. Now, we take a camera into the gym. We can take a camera into the gym and we can let everybody else decide who's the better player out of the two because they're both here in Albuquerque. They probably both got a couple of weeks before they leave. Maybe we should bring a camera into the gym, show the people what it looks like, how our training sessions look. And we can put a vote on there.
Here's what would happen.
Okay.
If I had to predict this segment we're talking about in the gym. They both would score, but then you would go to the stat sheet and see DeAndre has 12 rebounds.
That's tough. I can't dispute that. And a couple of blocks.
They both will score.
And his defense.
And their defense. DeAndre will be guarding the best player. He'll be running point guard to playing the 3 position, like sort of a LeBron type situation. That's what he kind of brings to a team, which makes him valuable to a BBL team because he can go from playing your point guard to all of a sudden he's playing in your 3 position, to now he's running off screens, to now he's rebounding.
But in a setting where we're talking pickup basketball, to be dominant, you can do a bunch of different things. In essence, the numbers that you're giving are numbers that you could give if we're playing overseas. When we're playing pickup basketball, like we know what it means to dominate somebody, and it's mano a mano, one-on-one, on an island. Me and you have been there on numerous occasions from college all the way to pro. You've been there with my brother. And y'all have gone mano a mano. And when you have stats, it makes it different. But when you're playing pickup, it's no stats. It's each possession. So, that's the where I'd say DeAndre and him it'll be a tough game. Don't get it twisted. I love DeAndre. I love Scotty. But that's what would make it tough in a pickup scenario. But you got to look at Scotty's numbers playing in the highest league. And we both know you have a role. So when you have a role and you're playing in the highest league, your numbers, you may not have to go rebound. You may not have to make that assist because your coach may be like, I don't want you passing. I want you to catch and shoot. And we know Scotty can put it on the deck, but maybe he might just be a catch and shoot guy where he's at. Maybe defensively they hide him like a Steph Curry. You don't take away from Steph Curry's greatness because he can't play D. And you don't ascend Kawhi Leonard past Stephen Curry because Kawhi Leonard plays both ends. They both are great in their own right.
Let's give a upscale analogy of these guys. That would be like, when I think Scotty, I think J.J. Redick and Reggie Miller-ish, Rip Hamilton-ish.
Moving without the ball.
But practicing your ball handling.
Right, he has it all.
He has it all.
Everybody doesn't see it.
Right.
But hopefully on our show we're able to chronicle what both of them are doing as the year goes on.
Right.
And you'll be able to see. I'm going to try to put together something where we're playing in a run, an open run, where guys can see Exactly. I want them to see your game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They've seen a lot of me, they've seen a lot of Lamar, but I want them to see you.
So who's better between you two guys?
When are we going head up?
I
got both. There was silence in there, man.
Honestly, but what I will say is, I love basketball so much that I can see so much that he does that I can't see what I do. You know what I'm saying?
You have respect for each other.
I have so much respect for him. I have so much respect for my brother that there's certain guys that if you ask me if I was better than, it would be up to the people's perception because I have so much respect for them that they do certain things in their game that I just don't do. You know, but there's things I do that they can't do. So like Scrap told me one day, he's like, man, your athleticism is crazy. If I would have had that athleticism, who knows where I would be. But I could say the same thing with him. You're a machine. You don't miss. And he may think in his head like, yeah, whatever. You know, and I sometimes think when people say how athletic I am, 37, still dunking and doing those things, I think, well, when I'm shooting, I still feel your presence. So athleticism isn't the only thing. And you guys taught us as coaches, you know, the game is about here. It ain't about here. You know what I'm saying? This can go away and you can still play.
That helps a little bit.
Right,
the biggest thing, you know, one of the biggest things, I'll chime in and say this. The biggest thing I always admire about L is his patience as a player. Like, when he decides to play, he becomes very patient and very, very, you know what I'm saying, willing to get everybody involved.
I think the word is he lets the game come to him.
Yeah.
And then whenever he needs, like a John Stockton or whatever.
Exactly.
That's why I've watched your game. Now, we're gonna have a host come in that actually put you guys together with me, and he wants to speak, and so I'm going to have bow out, but I want to thank you for the Steve Davis show coming on, and we go. You guys can introduce the next guy coming in, okay? Because he's just not quite Steve Davis, okay? We got to let him build that deal. So hey, we're going to come back, and we'll come back with our special, our finisher. We'll come back with our finisher.
The closer.
Their closer.
Terry Cosper Insurance Agency is a proud partner with Proview Networks and a proud supporter of New Mexico High School athletics. Terry's been a local farmer's agent for over 20 years for auto, home, life, and business insurance. Just like high school sports are important, so are teen drivers. For more information, call Terry or one of his licensed staff members at 898-5556. Quotes are available for you. Car Crafters, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened? Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Sure, you could get him a new car. You could also light a pile of money on fire. So maintaining this old car is your best option. Keep it running longer, stronger, with quality parts and a whole lot of Napa know-how.
You know, we try to let all of our interns do everything here at Proview Sports Network. Sometimes it just doesn't pan out. Hey everybody, welcome to the Proview Rundown. I'm Adam Deal. What a big week in football, week 3. As you all know, come on, this Eagle, jeez.
Football's back right here on Proview Sports Network. All the best rivalries, all the best action, every game on Proview Sports Network, Comcast 26, and the game of the week on My 50 TV.
Altitude Sports Grill is where Albuquerque's sports fans won't miss a game. With locally crafted brews on tap and refreshingly crisp cocktails. Located in Hotel Cascada, Albuquerque residents find a staycation worth staying for. Catching Lobo sports, enjoying a beer on the beach, or wiping out, Hotel Cascada is home to your urban adventure. Affordable guest rooms, no-hassle water park parties, and much more.
Garden Sorts Team Sales is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Get into the game. Garden Schwartz Team Sales features fine products and apparel from Wilson, Schutt Sports, Speedline, and Russell Athletics. We offer custom embroidery and screen printing services for all of your school or club needs, from team uniforms to school letter jackets. Specializing in all sports and serving all communities, from big schools to small schools, from up north to down south, or all points in between. Garden Schwartz Team Sales. For great prices, friendly staff, and quality products, call Garden Schwartz Team Sales today at 1-800-880-7767. That's 1-800-880-7767. Since 1939, Garden Schwartz Team Sales is a proud supporter of New Mexico youth athletics.
Hey Lobo fans, I'm Sarah. And I'm Samantha. Jaguar Land Rover Albuquerque has been a family-owned business since 1988. The 2017 Jaguar F-Pace has been named the winner of the 2017 World Car of the Year and World Car Design of the Year. Land Rover's signature terrain response system is flawless against any curveball New Mexico weather can throw at you. We have a class-leading extended warranty on all Jags and Land Rovers and one of the greatest pre-owned inventories in the state of New Mexico. Call 505-797-3600 to schedule a test drive.
I am never getting married. Never. Guaranteed.
You picked a beautiful ring.
Thank you. We're never having kids.
I love it here.
We are never moving to the suburbs. We are never getting one of those. We're never having another kid.
I'm pregnant.
I'm never letting go.
For all the nevers in life, talk to State Farm agent Michelle Rudolph or Marty Size in Albuquerque.
For 55 years, people have bought trucks from Tillery in Los Lunas. We have a great selection of vehicles, the quality service department, and some of the best deals in the state. But most importantly, we found people prefer to buy trucks from people who actually drive trucks.
Tillery is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network. Locally owned and operated, located in Los Lunas, right off I-25, exit 203.
Welcome to the Kevin Banks Show. It is no longer the Steve Davis Show. I got to show Steve how it's done, so here I am. Yeah. Hey, I'm happy to be here with Lero. Steve was killing your name, and I apologize. We were back there cracking up, and we have Scrap.
Yeah.
And these two have been talking about kind of the new ventures of what's going on with their new show, The Issue.
Yes, sir.
Not
yes,
the
sir.
issues, not the tissue, but the issue.
The issue.
Right?
The issue.
I'm excited about the show. I really am.
Thank you, man.
It's going to be almost as good as the juice.
If we can almost be good, we'll take that. If we can be in the same hemisphere, we'll take that.
We'll take it.
I thought the next words that were going to come out of your mouth, which if Steve was sitting behind his desk, is, well, when is the juice going to come on?
Right? That's a good question, actually.
Right.
But I know you don't have that answer.
I don't.
So I'm not going to do my boy like that. So.
Yeah, you know, hey, I appreciate it. Steve's back there talking behind the camera. We are not going to pay attention to him because this is the Kevin Banks Show.
Let's go.
All right.
Let's go.
All right. So first and foremost, again, man, I'm excited about the program that we're going to have, The Issue, to really spotlight the talent here, not just in Albuquerque, but in New Mexico.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
We've had a lot of talent that's come through this state. We currently have a ton of monsters on the court.
Yeah.
You two included. Don't be humble.
Thank you.
I've played with y'all here the last few months, and man, I'm impressed with what I see.
Thank you.
Larry, we've known each other for quite some time.
Oh, my goodness. Your family.
Oh,
we
most
grew
definitely.
up in the church together, so you already know.
Absolutely.
You're going to get any stronger roots than that, you know.
Oh, man, look.
So we're family, definitely.
And to see you grow and be a professional athlete has been an amazing journey, I'm sure, for you, but it's been great to see that.
I appreciate that,
to see you grow as a basketball player. And, you know, Scrap, you and I have just recently gotten to know each other better, and you've talked about your background. I know you talked about it earlier in the segment with Steve.
Yeah.
And you have so much to give, so much to not only give back to the community, but to talk about your experiences not only in life, but in basketball and in your global travels, if you will.
Yeah.
But with all that being said, man, let's just talk.
Okay.
Let's talk. This is not the Steve Davis show.
This is the
Let me say this,
Kevin
Kevin.
Bank.
Go ahead. No, come on.
Because I'm not from Albuquerque.
You're not.
So I bring an outside perspective, or outsider's view, let's say.
Right.
From traveling and playing in different states in the summertime, and then coming back as Albuquerque being my home base, you know, the guard play in Albuquerque is very, very high.
Absolutely.
At any given day, when we all get together and come in the gym, you could have point guards to shooting guard position.
Right.
At least 8 players that have played abroad or played professionally at a high level.
Sure.
You know, so the guard play here is phenomenal, even at the the college ranks and the youth levels. You know, you won't get too many bigs per se, but when it comes to the guard play, and I've been around different states, Ohio, New York, this, that, the other. You know, I can give my boys credit, man. You know, they bring the heat.
So I'm gonna jump in real quick on that. Okay. I know New Mexico. We went through a phase where we had the big man. We had Taman Demzowski. We had A.J. Bramlett. We had Kenny Thomas.
Okay.
So we were known for producing monsters like that. But to your point, right after that transition, we had Steve Davis. He's kind of a big guy. I don't know. He has a big head. He was saying my head was big. He was just a big head. But with that being said, you're absolutely right. We have a ton of guards that have come out, and I think it really started with Willie and Greg.
Greg
so that was the transition to the smaller guys. Sean Baker,
Damian Jenkins,
Josh. It just goes on and on.
Justin
Felix. So when you talk about guards, yes, we've had that transition from when we had the monster big guys, and now we're looking at a lot of the strong guards that are coming out of New Mexico. I didn't mean to interrupt. You were going to say something on that.
What I was going to say was, as a active professional athlete, that's one thing that Albuquerque provides me. I never left. I left and I went to Phoenix for a while, and because I was playing there and had a family there and whatnot. But when I came back, the one thing that I can say is, every year I go back to Mexico to play, or anywhere that I've gone and played, I am prepared for whatever. And any guard that's standing in front of me, they don't have the things that we have here. And so I never feel like I'm at a loss. I never feel like there's a guy who's who's the opposition's point guard. I never feel like, oh man, I haven't had my test yet. This is going to be a test tonight. I've seen everything from Scrap to Roman to Lamar to Marcus Williams, speed to athleticism. I guard DeAndre, Scotty's shooting ability. So there's nothing that prepares you more than being home for those summer runs when guys are no longer forced to play a role.
Right.
Guys are out there trying to assassinate you. You know what I mean? So when you come from that and then you go to another country, nobody stands a chance against me because I've seen every single situation you could see because our guard play is so tough here.
So I'm going to jump in right there again. What I've noticed here lately, especially around Albuquerque Metro, and man, let's not even talk about the Hobbs and those places like that because there's a ton of talent down there. But I'm amazed at the amount of professional athletes, professional basketball players that we have here. So when you're talking, getting challenged, you have Chris Newsom that's over in the Philippines playing right now.
He just came home and played in the tournament against us, and he looked amazing.
Exactly. So
athletic.
You have this pool of talent when it comes to guards, but I mean it's something that gets you prepared for your season each year. The other thing real quick that I want to touch on is your outside perspective, Houston. I know there's people like yourself and Frank that come from Houston, and I've played elsewhere around the country, but y'all bring this grittiness, this toughness, this I don't care who's standing in front of me. And I'm not saying that the New Mexico players don't have that, but it's just different. And no matter which region you go to across the United States, everybody has something a little different that they bring from their particular area. You Houston boys are crazy.
Well, I mean, when you growing up in the inner city and, you look across the board at the different high schools, in my class, you had T.J. Ford, John Lucas, all these guys with dads that played in the NBA, preparing them, to be assassins.
Sure.
So when you growing up and coming up around that, you have to go out to make a name, and you have to go out with that heart, grittiness, and toughness. Otherwise, you're going to get chewed up and spit out.
Sure.
You won't even have a chance to even be ranked to anything. You know, none of that because of the talent pool. So, you know, you come out every weekend, for instance, we play the games Friday night, Saturday night. That Monday morning when the paper come out, they get the stat leaders and all this in the paper. You know, that's the first thing we go into in the morning.
Right.
Who's the leading assist getter? Who's the top points getter? Oh, Alton Ford, Myron Allen. You know, these guys, you know, with the greater names that, you know, essentially play professionally as well.
Sure.
So I'm looking at them. I got to chase them. I got to get there. So it's always so many guards and people that you're competing against when you're in the inner city. You know, it's just unbelievable. And for you to even climb into being on any list in one of those cities is just phenomenal. You know what I mean?
See, and this is a piece that we're going to bring when it comes to the issue. I'm excited about y'all's show. I really am. We're going to talk about these certain subjects. You guys, not we. You two are going to bring it. You're going to highlight the people that are here locally, make each other challenge each other, right?
Right.
So I'm very, very excited about the issue. I'm sure you guys are. I'm glad Steve gave us the opportunity to present that show, and we're going to see what happens. Meanwhile, yes, you were blessed with Kevin Banks and not Steve Davis. You are welcome. But again, to our guests for coming on today.
Thank you, guys.
Scrap, appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Laro,
Thank you, my man.
not Laro. Well, I don't know what
Laro,
Steve is calling you, but you know, hey, that's all right. We'll correct him later.
All right.
But hey, appreciate you joining in. Unfortunately, the Kevin Banks show will not repeat after this, but look forward to the next Steve Davis. See, I messed his name up.
Yeah, but hey.
That could have been intentional.
Yeah, you know what?
All right, that was intentional. Look forward to the next Steve Davis show. We appreciate you being here today. Be blessed.